Inter Miami have tied against Colorado Rapids 2-2. And the first key point that I do want to talk about is going to be about this. The depth of Inter Miami is so trash, and especially in the defense. And I don't mean to say this like in a bad way, but it's just the reality. Inter Miami, when they do have the chance, need to further the depth within the defense. I mean, just look at this, right? Look at the defensive line. We have Ruiz, who played as a right back, Sailor as a center back, Allen, who played as a center back, Negri, who also played as a left back. Negri and Ruiz do sometimes play within those roles, but just look at the center back positions, right? It's not it. Now I understand why Tata Martino went for a defensive line like this is because we had many players injured, like for example, Farias, Redondo, Christoph, and Robert Taylor. And I remember when I saw all of these players injured, I'm like, okay, Tata Martino is going to put out a starting 11 that is going to be insane, unpredictable, and just something strange. And so for context, right, Ruiz, like I've said, played as a right back, but he usually does play as a central midfielder. Allen, who played as a center back, usually does play as a left back. Griezel, he played great as a central midfielder. He has performed in positions like this before, but usually we do see him as a right wing back, and that is where his best position is. And then you look at where Busquets does play. You have Thomas Aviles, who played as a central defensive midfielder, but usually does play as a center back. And so these players were all over the place. And like I've said, there are two reasons on why we had to put out an 11 like this. It's because of injuries. And point number two, Tata Martino wanted to recharge Messi, Busquets, Jordi Alba, and Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez did not play in this match. Messi played for about 30 to 35 minutes. Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba came in the second half to play a total of 20 to 25 minutes. I have a feeling that the reason why Tata Martino is saving his best players and constantly rotating is because his eyes are set for the match against Monterrey that is going to be happening on Wednesday night. Because in the first leg, Miami did lose to Monterrey 2-1. And so they're going to have to win at their home with a scoreline of 2-0. At the very least, they cannot concede furthermore because it's only going to make Inter Miami's job even more difficult. And I also do have like my own speculations, right? I have a feeling that Jorge Mas and David Beckham really want Inter Miami to prioritize on winning trophies. And by winning trophies, I mean like prioritizing the KO rounds, the knockout rounds, which is why Inter Miami rotates so much and rest their best players a lot right before a KO match. And I understand why Inter Miami are taking this approach is because it creates more stories, it creates more headlines, it creates that headline of Messi and Suarez knock out Monterrey or Pumas in the quarterfinals. Like they want those type of headlines because it's just better for their brand. It's more exposure, it's more exciting. It's what Inter Miami are really good at because of the players that they do have. And ultimately it brings Miami into a new light. There's simply just much more brand exposure with games like that, and they want to have their best players. Their primary objectives is to win these tournaments like the League Cup, the CONCACAF Cup, etc. But going back to this game, right, I want to get a little bit more focused on what happened in this match. Even though these players did shift a lot, these players still played solid. I'm not going to lie, like Ruiz and Negri, both of these two players came out with an assist each. Our attack was set up very well. We tested the goalkeeper. We saw Griezel take a long shot from outside the box on the 34th minute into the top left corner. Unfortunately, it just hit wide, but we were getting onto something. But then came the defense. And when I mean by the defense, I mean Sailor. Sailor made a tackle on the 43rd minute in our own box against Cabral, in which the ref said, okay, that is a penalty. And it was a very unnecessary tackle that Sailor did. He was probably one of our worst center backs or worst defenders on this night. Anybody else would have done a much better job on decision making, on trying to block Cabral, on making that dribble inside our own box, like put in Christoph or Aviles. So Colorado Rapids got the first goal and Miami were in trouble. So in the second half, Tata Martino said, okay, you know what? Messi is back. We need him. He seems like he's 100% healthy. And so he put him in the second half, like right on the 45th minute, he was placed into the 11. And let me tell you guys, Miami always act like a different team when they have Messi in the squad. When Messi is not there, Miami is just like a team that is meant to be in the bottom 4 to 5 teams in the league. But with Messi, Miami just become much more alive. I remember seeing the fans cheer because they were so overwhelmed with the amount of bad results that we're getting over the past 3 to 4 matches because Messi was not there. And so the fans were so excited. There was a sense of relief and they were all hoping to have Messi turn around the match. And I also remember Colorado, they were getting nervous. Like the moment they saw Messi step into the pitch, they're like, oh my God, we have to score another goal because we don't want to lose this lead. And so like 1 minute after Messi came in, they tried to attempt a long shot into the top right corner. Calendar blocked the shot and I'm like, okay, game on. It seems like Colorado Rapids know exactly what might go on in a few minutes. So on the 56th minute, Negri runs inside from the left flank, makes a pass to Messi. Messi only takes a one-touch shot. It gets deflected slightly by the defender and that shot ends up going into the bottom left corner. It only took Messi 14 minutes to score the goal for Inter Miami. And I'm like, this is exactly what Colorado Rapids did not want, because there was a reason why they were trying to look for the 2-0. It is because they knew that Messi was going to end up scoring. And that pass that Negri made from the left side, it was very Jordi Alba, like very Jordi Alba. I'm just like, if any player can do things like this and make crosses like that, like what Negri did or what Jordi Alba usually does, you're going to end up benefiting Messi by a lot, and it'll benefit Inter Miami as a whole. Fast forward to the 59th minute. Messi receives the ball in the middle of the pitch. He passes the ball to the right side of the field. Ruiz receives the ball, makes a cross to Afonso, and Afonso scores the goal, and Inter Miami make it 2-1. Just like that. Messi's impact is just on a whole other level. It brings the players back to life, and that is why I do mean, right? Because these players just play much differently with Messi on the pitch. Everything gets orchestrated by the Argentine player. And so, if you guys do not know who Leo Afonso is, he's a 22-year-old Brazilian left winger who just entered the first team. It was a big moment for him because he started back in 2019. He was playing with the second team of Inter Miami throughout the past 4 to 5 years. He finally got the call up to the first team about 2 or 3 months ago, and now he is showcasing to David Beckham, to Jorge Mas, to Tata Martino, why he should be a player that should continue to be in the first team and why he should be on the pitch. 3 days ago, the sporting director, Chris Henderson, did state this: Leo Afonso is a promising attacker that we have known for a long time. He earned his spot on the first team through his performances with Inter Miami's second team and in his 2 previous MLS appearances with the team while on a short-term agreement. So far, Afonso has played 3 matches. He has accumulated a total of 113 minutes, and so he wasn't really playing like 90-minute matches, more like 15 to 18-minute matches. He finally got his goal, and I hope that because of this goal, it allows for Tata Martino to continue to use the player, because he was, in fact, the one that created the most chances against Colorado. And I believe that this will only add great competition to someone like Robert Taylor. Robert Taylor, when he is 100% healthy, he is always preferred by Tata Martino, and maybe Leo Afonso might have something to say about that. So by the 70th minute, we saw Sergio Busquets come in, Jordi Alba, Gomez, Marcelo. There was more stability in the attack. We had a total of 17 shots that were taken, 7 shots off target, 7 shots on target, and 3 blocked shots. As you can see in the second half, with the inclusion of all of these players coming in by the 70th minute, Inter Miami's attacking momentum was increasing by a lot. Like if you compare it to the first half, they weren't doing anything, but in the second half, they were much dangerous. But unfortunately, going back to what I first said in the beginning of this video, the attack was not enough to make Colorado Rapids stop scoring. Like the defense was just not present at all for Inter Miami, and they could not stop conceding because Miami lost the ball in the middle of the field. Colorado gains the possession. You can see the player running down the field, and then one of the strikers of Colorado Rapids, number 77, makes a great run that allows space for Calvin Harris to receive the ball. So the player on the right side passes it to Calvin Harris. Number 77 shifts his position to the right. Sergio Busquets couldn't keep up, and then Calvin Harris, the England international, receives the ball and puts the ball inside the net. It was so easy for Colorado Rapids, and in the end, it was not the best result. Like we did not want to see a 2-2 scoreline. We wanted to win 2-0. We wanted to win 2-1, but it just did not happen. And so because of this result, Inter Miami are now in 3rd place in the Eastern Conference table. Inter Miami have the most matches played with a total of 8 matches, and so they should be in 1st place, but because they have been getting so many bad results over the past 3 or 4 matches, that is the reason why they are in 3rd place. There's a great chance that they might even go lower in the table, because once all the other teams in the table match Inter Miami's matches played, they would definitely go down. And I have a feeling, going back to what I said in the beginning of this video, that they're going to be doing the bare minimum just to make it to the playoffs, right? I believe that Tata Martino is going to aim to just go into the top 9. I don't think they have any interest going into the top 4 or the top 3. Maybe they do, but we'll see. But the bare minimum for them is to just make it to the playoffs, to do just enough, because I think that they're going to bring all of their energy, all of their focus to go into the Champions Cup and go into the League's Cup and win those 2 trophies. Everything else regarding the playoffs and getting into the top 9 within the table is going to fall into place. If they win those 2 trophies, they're going to carry that momentum and go into the playoffs and say, we can also win this too, as long as we make it into the top 9. And so that is it. That is going to be my match review for the Inter Miami versus Colorado Rapids match. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.